Right, I already know what you want.
Yeah, it's not really a mystery. I want faster internet on the road. And the good news is, I'm about to get it because I just got this email. Starlink for RVs is available right now as of today. In fact, I ordered Starlink for my residence 15 months ago and I still don't have it. Why, you might ask? Because right now, my internet comes from a dish up in the tree, this dish right here, if you can see it, and I get about 20 megabits a second down and about 10 megabits a second up, and it kind of works, but I want it to be faster. So the second I got that email, I immediately ordered Starlink for my RV, and the confirmation email says that it will ship usually within 2 weeks. Starlink for RV and Starlink for your residence uses exactly the same hardware, and it costs the same. It's $5.99 plus $50 for shipping. So if you order Starlink for RV now, expect to spend exactly $649 immediately.
And then you will need to put another 100 on top of that because, well, you are whop, mate.
I mean, yeah, my grandma is Italian, but bro. For residential service, it's $110 a month. For the RV service, it's $135 a month. But there is a third option, which is residential plus portability, and that's $110 plus $25, so $135. And you might think it's exactly the same thing, but it is not. There is kind of a big difference. With the RV service, you always get low priority service. That means in waitlist areas, residential customers have an advantage. That includes residential customers plus portability who are actually at home. With RV service, you never have priority. In areas that are actively available for Starlink now, that's probably going to be fine, but in waitlist areas, you will have low priority service. So that means during peak hours, or if there are a lot of people around using this service, maybe a convention with 100,000 RVers, you might get lower internet speeds. The big advantage to the RV service is that you can turn it off and on a monthly basis. You're going on a trip, turn it on, you're going to be home for 2 months, you turn it off. You can't do that with the residential plus portability. So you've got to decide if you want priority for $135 a month, or if you want the ability to turn it off and on for $135 a month. And if you're not in an RV and you're never taking it with you, just pay $110 a month for the residential service. What kind of speeds do you get? Well, for residential service or RV service, you get between 50 and 250 megabits per second download normally. But if you're an RV and you become low priority, the speeds will go from 50 to 250 to 5 to 100 megabits a second. For upload speeds, Starlink says it is between 10 and 20 megabits a second for both residential and RV service. Now, if you have the residential plus portability feature, if you move from your residence address, you suddenly get the same priority as the RV people. You're low priority, you're at the bottom of the list. So with the RV plus portability, you're only golden when you're at home. When we were traveling full time, we had an expensive modem and an AT&T plan that cost us about $150 a month, and we could not turn that off and on at will. In fact, we didn't have the auto payment thing set up right, so our service got turned off, and we had to get on a wait list to get it turned back on. But with Starlink for RVs, off and on at will. That's gold, that's worth it for me, and that is the plan that I am going with. Your situation may be different. The other thing is Starlink is putting a bunch of satellites in the sky all the time, so that low priority thing may not mean much in the future. This is what the coverage map looks like right now. Notice that I'm in a waitlisted area. Oh look, no service till 2023, apparently. We're going to Iceland in about a week, and I was thinking, if this thing gets here in time, maybe we could take this to Iceland, but you can only use your dish in the continent where you reside. So it's not going to work in Iceland. Plus, Iceland's coverage looks like this right now, which means I don't think it works at all there. With a lot of these portable data plans, there is often a cap for the data you can use. Even when they say there's not a cap, sometimes they slow it down once you hit a certain threshold. With the Starlink plan, there is no data cap at all, which is kind of dope. Because Starlink uses satellites, you need a clear view of the sky for solid coverage. So you can test to see if maybe where you live or where you plan on camping has good coverage. They have an app for that, the Starlink app. I'm going to test here at home to see how coverage will be here. Now, you may know this, but my residence is in a forest with big trees all around me. Looks kind of like that around me. So that's not super ideal, but let's check the coverage. This is what the app looks like. You just hit this button, check for obstructions, and then you point your camera at the sky and it will take a look around and see if you got good coverage. So let's go ahead and do that. You just kind of scan the entire sky, and this is what the app looks like while it's doing it. And it just takes a second. And then you can jump down here and you hit view results. And let's see, estimated obstructions. I'm super excited to see what that says. You may want to find a better spot. I'm standing on my freaking RV, about as high, I guess I can go on my roof, but I don't think that's going to help much. So I will get, I don't know, questionable coverage. Once I get the dish, I will test it and let you know. And obviously you don't need to have the dish set up or even order it to download the app for free and test where you live or where you want to go. You should also know that it is not designed for use while you're in motion. So if you're fantasizing about having this dish appear on your roof and like surfing at 250 megabits a second while you're on the road, you can't do that yet. I mean, people are doing it, but they can cancel you, so I suggest you don't. They are working on making it usable while you are physically moving, but that hasn't happened yet. It's also a big old residential dish, so it's not designed to be mounted on your RV or truck or car, although some people are doing that. It may not also be reliable for live streaming. Like if you need a solid signal for hours on end that isn't going to drop, even if you're parked somewhere, it may not be the best solution for that. I've got a couple live animal cameras here in my forest. We stream 24/7 to YouTube, and I talked to another friend that does that, and she tried Starlink for streaming, and it didn't work for her. I mean, maybe if you have an amazing location and a very clear sky, it might be okay, but from what I've heard so far, it's not the best solution for solid live streaming, although for a Zoom chat or something, it's probably going to be fine. You should probably order it right away if you want to get it for your RV. Just go to starlink.com/RV. I have no idea if they've got a whole bunch or if they could sell out, but you know, parts are in short supply now, so if you want it, you better order it now. Leland and I are considering building out our truck into a truck camper and traveling to all 50 states in 100 days. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. And by the way, if you want to see us with COVID-19 stealth truck tent camping in a snowstorm on accident, you gotta watch that video right there.